Hi, my name is Rachel Rosen. I'm a professor of sociology at UCL, and I've known Nadera Shalhoub-Kevorkian's work since 2019 when her really profound and important book, Incarcerated Childhood and the Politics of Unchilding, was released. And I've had the pleasure of engaging with her in multiple forums since then. Nadera is an exceptional scholar and educator. And one of the things that first struck me when I encountered her work, and indeed until today, is that her development of concepts in sonic, visual, and metaphoric idioms. She has enriched our understandings, our collective understandings, through concepts such as unchilding, killability, and ashla, offering us compelling new ways to make sense of the degradations of structural violence, the textures and configurations of the global political economy, which attempt to turn oppressed and occupied people into non-beings or even sub-beings as a way to rationalize and justify their exploitation. Her development of unchilding has been particularly important for my own work in a scholarly field. This is the multidisciplinary field of childhood studies, which in the past 3 to 4 decades has really burgeoned with undergraduate, master's, and PhD programs around the globe, and a wide network of scholars who are focused on understanding childhood as a social and political institution. And through the concept of unchilding that Nadera offers us, which points to the violent, political, material, physical, legal, and symbolic ways in which young Palestinians are evicted from the category of childhood altogether, she offers us something very important. By showing how this eviction happens, she's also able to attend to the ways in which Palestinian children are evicted from the protection that's seemingly afforded to the innocent. Nadera reminds us that in the logics of settler colonialism, Indigenous children are viewed as a threat, dangerous because they seem to embody and carry hopes, dreams, commitments, and practices which run counter to their dispossession and counter to their attempted extermination. I have found this concept a really rich and generative way of making sense of the research that I do with migrant children about the ways they're positioned, subjugated, and dispossessed in the racialized and neoliberal border regimes in the UK particularly. And I also find it really helpful in terms of making sense of how the figure of the child is appropriated as a political tool in both spectacular and banal ways. Nadera's work offers us much methodologically as well. She works within Indigenous feminist traditions, and in keeping with the blossoming childhood studies scholarship, she recognizes the young, children, as people with insights, perspectives, and ground-up analysis of the conditions of their lives, including their dehumanization and violent subjugation in settler colonies. She draws skillfully on her work with children, and she weaves this together with biographical interviews with Palestinian adults about their childhoods, careful observation, historical research, and the arts. And she refers to this in the beautiful term of embroidering accounts. In so doing, she surfaces sort of voices that have rarely been heard, sights and scenes that have often been silenced or erased or obscured. And in this way, she allows us to pay attention or calls on us to pay attention to the complex texture of everyday and intimate lives, where the egregious violences of settler colonialism, occupation, and exploitation play out. So, given what I've said so far, it should come as no surprise that I recommend Nadera's work highly to all of my students and engage with it in my own work. But I really wanted to end by saying that no comment about Nadera would be complete without mentioning her generosity of spirit. This is with her students, with faculty, and with those whom she encounters in the places in which she lives and works. Nadera reminds us that love is what sustains Palestinians. It's what sustains knowledge production in the face of educide and epistemicide. So, as a childhood studies scholar, colleague of Nadera, as a Jewish colleague of Nadera, I can't stress enough how strongly her love of life, her love of learning, and her love of collectivity shines through everything she does. And as she reminds us, love is a practice of freedom. The world is far richer, with freedom more clearly in our sights for her work and for her words.